Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to a new video on the channel. And today guys, I'm going to be reviewing round 20 and previewing round 21 of the 2024 AFL season. Starting off with the previous round review, round 20 Friday night, saw Port Adelaide defeat Carlton by 14 points at Marvel Stadium. A big upset to start the round and see Carlton lose second spot on the ladder. First game on the Saturday saw Geelong defeat North Melbourne by 40 points at Blunston Arena. And in the twilight, the Q Clash saw the Suns lose their first game at home for the season, losing to the Lions by 28 points, and Essendon had a huge season blow in the twilight. The Saints smashed them by 53 points at Marvel. Saturday night saw the Giants and Demons play out a great game of footy with the Giants prevailing by 2 points in a thriller, and also the Derby seeing Freemason defeat West Coast by 35 points at Optus Stadium. First game of the Sunday saw Collingwood take care of Richmond by 26 points. The Western Bulldogs prove a big point to the competition, defeating the Swans of the SCG by 39 points, and Hawthorn also proving a huge point to the competition as well, smashing Adelaide by 66 to finish round 20. Here is the ladder after the round. The Blues did lose second spot. They're now in fourth. Brisbane and Freemason jump skip them. The Western Bulldogs are now in the top 8, and Hawthorn are just percentage outside. And the Coleman medal now is probably just a race in two. Jesse Hogan is following Charlie Curnow. So Charlie Curnow sits on 56 goals. Jesse Hogan 53. And they're followed by Ben King 46, Harry Mackay 44, and Jake Waterman 44. Time for the round 21 preview. Friday night footy, massive game. This one is at Marvel Stadium. It's the Western Bulldogs taking on Melbourne. Big game of footy. This one is Melbourne. This is a huge season on the line game. If they lose this, it's probably season over. If they win, it'd be a huge upset and it would keep their season alive. Western Bulldogs coming off of a 5-day break against their clash against Sydney. They've beaten Carlton, Geelong and Sydney in the last few weeks. They've been playing really good footy. They've been looking on and their best has been pretty good. Still a chance for the top 4 as well. They've got a pretty simple run home, and if they win this game, it probably really does open up for them that they could potentially finish in the top 4 if a few other sides fail to get wins. But Melbourne, massive game of footy this one is for them, because if they lose this game, it's probably season over, and the Western Bulldogs, if they win this, it would shore up a spot in the top 8, and it would probably almost see them make it from here. It'd be hard if they won this game. It'd probably be hard for them not to make it. They'd have to lose winnable games for them not to make it from here. I think they will be too strong, the Western Bulldogs. They're looking really good at the moment. They've got their best team out there. I think they'll win this game and win it pretty comfortably by 43 points. Also, Friday night at Optus Stadium is going to be West Coast taking on Gold Coast. Another big game of footy. This one is West Coast played pretty well last week in the Derby for a half and then fell away in the second quarter, but they have been playing pretty well at home. And Gold Coast, this is a big game of footy for them as well. They are yet to win on the road in 2024, and put that with now a loss at home as well to the Lions last week. And it's going to be really hard for them. They've got to win every game from here to make finals. And it's not the hardest run home in the world, but it would probably take a miracle from here for the Gold Coast Suns to make finals. So this one is pretty well a 50-50 game. I really do think both these two sides could get the win, but Gold Coast are yet to win away from home on the road, and they played pretty poorly last week. I think they will continue. I think West Coast will get the win here by 14 points. First game on the Saturday is going to be North Melbourne taking on Richmond, 17th versus 18th at Marvel Stadium. This game will probably decide who the wooden spooner for 2024 will be, but I think it'll be a pretty decent game of footy. Both these two sides have played some relatively good footy over the past few weeks and are probably a little bit better than their ladder position shows. North Melbourne, they've been definitely improving as of late, and have been quite unlucky to have a few more wins on the board. And Richmond, they've been competitive for parts of the game last week, though they weren't really that competitive. And North Melbourne just couldn't quite make the most of any of their opportunities, which saw them lose in the end pretty comfortably to Geelong. But they were in the game for parts of it. So I think this will be a pretty good game. Marvel Stadium will probably be high scoring as well. I think North Melbourne will be too strong winning this game by 17 points. I feel like they've been playing the better footy over the past few weeks. But really, though, it's really anyone's game. In the twilight is going to be Geelong taking on Adelaide at GMHBA Stadium. Another big game of footy this one is. Adelaide were absolutely embarrassed last week against Hawthorn. They got absolutely destroyed after quarter time. And Geelong, they did what they had to do. They did the job against North Melbourne, and that's all that really mattered at the end of the day. Geelong haven't been playing the best footy over the last few weeks, but they did definitely find that back last week against North Melbourne. They won pretty comfortably and played pretty well, and this one should be another pretty simple win for them. Adelaide will try their best, but I couldn't see them winning this game of footy at all. They are in the bottom 4, and last week really did play like it. And I think Geelong will win this game pretty comfortably by 38 points. Definitely could be more, but I do think Geelong will win the game pretty comfortably. Saturday night, Port Adelaide versus Sydney at the Adelaide Oval. And, well, Sydney's last few weeks have not been great. Of course, they've been trying. but just haven't been winning at all. And they have been losing in a few close games. They've played relatively well, but last week it just didn't go their way at all. They looked out of it at quarter time. The Western Bulldogs were absolutely all over them, and the margin could have been more than what it was in the end. 39 points. They were probably lucky to walk away with a 39-point loss, because it could have easily been 60, 70 points. The Western Bulldogs were playing that well. It could have easily been that. So their last few weeks, despite the close losses, last week was horrible for the Swans. And Port Adelaide, they've been going all right, and last week was a huge win for them. Last week was definitely better than all right. Yes, Harry Mackay was out for Carlton, but the last week was a huge win for them. And really, I reckon they're not far away from making the finals now. They sit in 7th at the moment. If they won this game, we'd probably almost see them in. They probably need one more win after this one if they won this game to make finals. So there's definitely a lot on the line for them. And well, Sydney, if they lose this game and Fremantle, Brisbane, Carlton will win, then that means their spot will be all of a sudden under threat heading into the back end of the year. So I think this will be a great game of footy. I think it'll be really competitive. I think both sides are going to really want to win this. There's a lot on the line for both these two sides. I think Sydney will win by one singular point in one of the games of the year. Saturday night footy as well is going to be the MCG, Pendlebury's 400th game, Collingwood versus Carlton. A big rivalry continues, and it is at a big time in the season for these two clubs. Collingwood's season is hanging on by a thread. They did what they had to do against Richmond. It was not pretty. It wasn't fantastic. They probably didn't win by as much as they would have hoped. 26 points is what the final margin was. They did what they had to do. And Carlton, well, their season at the moment is also falling apart. They've lost their last few games, only one against North Melbourne in there. And it just looks like they're just falling out of shape at the wrong time of the year. You can play really well for 16 weeks and then fall off at the end of the season, and those first 16 weeks, aside from ladder position, don't really mean much. It's what happens at the back end of the year that counts. These sides that go on runs now are probably better off than the sides which are losing 5 games in a row. So the Blues are definitely in danger of losing another game here. Collingwood are definitely going to take it up to them. It's such a big occasion for them that I reckon this will be a really good game of footy. The Blues obviously didn't want that result last week, losing to Port Adelaide. Yes, Harry Mackay was out, and they did have a few other injuries, but I think they'll get back on the winners list this week, winning by 14 points. But I think it'll be a great game of footy, and Collingwood will definitely make it earn them in a massive occasion. Scott Pendlebury's 400th game for Collingwood. Now, first game on the Sunday is going to be GWS taking on Hawthorn at Manuka Oval. This is a massive game of footy all of a sudden. This becomes so huge. The Giants, they've got a challenging run home, and if they lose this game, all of a sudden they become open to potentially falling out of the 8 over the course of the next few weeks. They've got Brisbane to come as well, so it is a challenging run home for them. And well, Hawthorn, they are on a roll at the moment. They are playing great footy. They won the hottest, in fact, I think they're the hottest side in footy at the moment. They've got the best record over the past 10 or so weeks. They are playing great footy, are the Hawks, and they are on the side you do not want to be playing, or the side you don't want to be playing against at the moment. Last week, they belted Adelaide by 66 points. And the Giants, they defeated Melbourne by 2 points. They're going pretty well, and they have been pretty good when going inside 50 their past few weeks. I think this will be a great game of footy. I think Hawthorn in the upset will win this game by 10 points. I just think they're so strong at the moment. I think it's hard to tip against them. But I really do think this one could go either way. And if Hawthorn lose this game, it's not season over, but it'll probably be hard for them to make it from here. They'd have to win every game and probably make up a bit of percentage as well. But I think they can genuinely win this game. But I think it'll be a great game of footy. Sunday, Channel 7 game is going to be the MCG. It's going to be Essendon taking on Fremantle. And, well, Essendon, speaking about seasons falling off, their season has fell off. If they lose this game, it's probably curtains. They've got one of the hardest run homes to come. They've still got Sydney and Brisbane in 23 and 24, and they've got Gold Coast next round after this game. If they lose this, it is really hard to make it from where they are. And with their poor percentage, well, they've been destroyed in the past couple of weeks, especially last week against St Kilda. They lost a very winnable game by a lot. They lost 53 points, I think it was. So they lost a very winnable game by a lot, which they wouldn't have been happy with. And Fremantle, who are in some hot form, are playing really well at the moment. They're in third, and I think Fremantle should be able to win this game. Essendon have just been falling off. They've been playing poor footy. It's a hard run home, and Fremantle have been playing great footy. And I think they'll win this game pretty comfortably by 45 points. They're playing really good at the moment. I think it'll be hard for the Bombers to win this game. Now to the final game of the round. It's going to be St Kilda taking on Brisbane at Marvel Stadium to finish off the round. Big game of footy this one is St Kilda. They've been playing great footy over the last few weeks. They beat West Coast and then Essendon, both by big margins. And And this is a very winnable game by them. I think they are a genuine chance in winning this game. Brisbane, they're a bit battered and bruised at the moment. They've got a few injuries going around the club. Last week, they did defeat Gold Coast pretty comfortably in the Q Clash, though, which will definitely give us some confidence heading into this game. The Lions, if they win this game, they'll hold on to second spot, depending on how much Fremantle and they win by. But of course, if they win by enough, they'll hold on to second spot. They're percentage ahead at the moment, and it's a huge game for them, and they'd be looking for a top 2 spot as well. So it's a huge game of footy for them. St Kilda, they've been playing as I said, very well over the past few weeks, and I think it'll be a great game of footy. I think St Kilda will get very close to winning. I think they'll be in front at times, but I think it'll be a great game of footy. But I think Brisbane are just going to run away in the end, being too strong by 20 points to finish the round. I think it'll be a great round of footy, this one. But yeah, Brisbane by 20 points for mine will be too strong and beat St Kilda. So that is the round of footy. So we'll go back over my tips. The Western Bulldogs, West Coast, North Melbourne, Geelong, Sydney, Carlton, Hawthorn, Fremantle and Brisbane. It's a great round of footy. I think there's going to be some cracking games, and there's definitely going to be a lot of movement after the round's ladder. So this is my ladder. So of course, Sydney and Port Adelaide, that's a big game. I have the Swans holding on to their first spot. Brisbane and Fremantle getting closer in second and third. Carlton on fourth and Geelong fifth equal. I have the Dogs jumping up to sixth. The Giants and Port Adelaide both sliding down. Hawthorn still in ninth, just on percentage. And then Essendon losing more percentage in 10th. The Pies in 11th. Melbourne in 12th. Gold Coast in 13th. St Kilda holding on to 14th spot. The Crows in 15th. And then West Coast, North Melbourne and Richmond. So it is a massive round of footy. There's some big ladder shaping games as we get towards the back end of the year. There's some massive finals season on the line kind of games. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. See you guys next another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much. Bye everyone. Flame Footy out.